going to be working, following on from the stuff we've been doing over the past few weeks. We're going to be working on our balance. Today we're going to add in a little bit of hip mobility in the balance. So I hope you've all been practicing your balance exercises, because we're going to balance and do a little bit of rotation as well. And we're going to go back and look at the basic squat. But the idea is to really keep this, as we've been doing with a lot of the Qigong style movement, is to keep the movement slow and controlled, because actually if you slow down a movement, it's a lot more challenging. So it's not about sort of like flinging your body about and going to full range of motion. It's really taking control of how you're controlling that movement. Find your comfortable standing posture, and we'll just start off by a little bit of shaking just to wake us up. Get the blood flowing. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. Bounce up and down a little bit. Create a little bit of vibration. Vibration is very, very good for the body. And notice as you're doing this, just pumping the legs a little bit, just letting the arms go, pump the arms a little bit. Feel where you might find some tension. So if you feel a little bit of excess tension, just a little bit of move maybe in the shoulders. Keep the lower back relaxed. And we can do some nice full deep breaths with this as well. So you can hear my voice shaking as well. My head and the back of the neck is shaking. You can breathe in through the nose. You can take a breath in through the nose. And you can just let it all go. Use any sound you like, just use a little bit of sound with a breath out. So again, in through the nose, and just let it all go. Remember also, just take a rest, just slow it down and take a rest. Just let some latecomers into the Zoom class. Remember also, when we are taking these deep breaths, that we're taking them deep, so feel it going down to these lower ribs as well, even if we're increasing the volume of air. So don't just pull everything up here and tighten the shoulders. And again, when you're taking deep, full breaths through the nose, don't do just what I did then in actually sort of like contracting and pulling everything in here. Just allow it in, feel the space. So just because you're taking a fuller breath, it doesn't mean to say that it can't be a relaxing breath. Let's take our feet about shoulder width apart, hip width apart. Just find our balance in a standing posture to start off with. For those who've been to the class before, 3 centers of gravity. In our Tai Chi, Qigong, Qi running, lower Dan Chen. So it's that point just below the belly button, in towards the spine. Just rock that point forwards and backwards. So in this nice tall posture, you're just a little bit more weight through the heels, shoulders relaxed, knees soft. Again, the important element, the important point is not to become rigid. We don't want tightness or rigidity. We need a certain amount of strength through the spine, but also softness in the shoulders, in the arms. Just take a moment to balance. You might want to sway a little bit forwards and backwards, side to side, round a little bit. Just do what feels comfortable, arms relaxed. And again, a really good simple visualization is that you're connected to the ground, so really feel that connection to the ground, and at the same time you're counterbalancing that grounding connection with that lifting and lengthening through the spine. So you're connecting to the earth and the sky, and that's not just in this standing position. When you're walking, when you're running, always keep that nice tall spine without being solid and rigid. Now take your feet a little bit wider apart, so we'll go shoulder width. Slight turn out on the toes, a little bit of give in the knees. Central axis, that spine from the crown, we're just going to rotate around that axis. So just let the arms go. You can let the head go. Now when we're doing this, really keep lifting from the crown. So if I show you from the side, if I end up doing this, it all comes down and collapses. So that's not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about relaxing the shoulders. You need strength through the spine, and then you can let the arms and the shoulders relax. So I'm almost tucking my chin a little bit, lengthening the spine, maybe a little bit of engagement in the lower abdominals to keep that central rotational axis in place. And then it's just easy. You can let the knees give a little bit, and we lead with the hips. So the hips are leading. Looks really simple, but actually to get that balance of strength where you need it and softness where you can allow it, it's actually really, really nice. So we're rotating hips, we're spiraling. Just keep that going, feel the rhythm. You can just breathe easy in and out through the nose. So we're just warming up, we're just getting fluidity, getting the blood flowing, getting the energy flowing, getting us prepared for the day. Leading with the hips, let the head go, if you want the head just to go side to side as well. Or you can just keep a gaze forwards so you get some rotation. Again, watch that we don't start collapsing down like this. So the knees are soft, you can have a little bit of connection to the ground, you can be really grounded, but again you're lifting. You might want to tuck the chin a little bit, head on top of the spine. And then slow it down. As we slow it down, imagine you're in a pool, you're in the sea, or you're in water, or you've got some nice, dense, thick air around the body, and you're just letting the arms float and pushing through, softness through. Feel the flow of air through the fingers. So again, watch that we don't collapse down, so you keep tall. We move, our body uses a lot of spiral patterns. Again, if you practice any Qigong or Tai Chi, then there's a lot of focus on spiraling, and we tend to think, or we just move, our joints hinge, but the majority of joints don't hinge, they actually rotate, they spiral. So we're not just moving in 2 dimensions, we're moving in 3 dimensions, and of course if you add time to that, we're moving in 4 dimensions. Slow it down, nice and soft, nice and soft, nice and soft. Come back to balance. One more little practice just to get that energy flowing, get the blood flowing. Make sure you've got some space behind you so you don't knock anything down. So I'm just stepping forwards a little bit. Hopefully you can see there. Yep, you can see me there. Hopefully, good, 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 good. Well, we're just going to raise the arms up. Now it's a bit like a swing. So as you drop, I'll show you in slow motion. As you drop, you bend the knees. As the arms swing back, you straighten the legs. As the arms swing through, you bend the knees and lift. So it's a bit like a double bounce. So do it in slow motion. Everybody's looking good there on Zoom. So we drop and bend the knees. We get to the back, the arms go to the back, straighten the legs. This is a nice point because when you straighten the legs at the back, you go, oh yeah, I can feel my hamstrings. Straighten the legs, bend the knees again, float the arms up. Let's do a couple more in slow motion. So drop, keep that spine long as well. Straighten, doesn't have to be locked, so make sure we're not locking, but just straighten, let the arms swing up. One more in slow motion. Drop as the knees bend, straighten, bend, straighten. Now let's start to speed it up. Really nice, just let the arms swing, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. Really relax the shoulders, relax the arms. The arms are just swinging now, and the momentum swings the arms up. So you're not actually now having to lift the arms, they're just swinging up, pumping from the ground. So you're using the ground. Again, when we're looking at the squat, You're using the ground to help push you back up. So really use the ground. Use the feet, use the ground, relax the shoulders, relax the arms. And it only takes a few of these, it'll get the heart rate up. Couple more. And then relax. So that just that is even if you just do that first thing in the morning, a little bit of a shaking, a little bit of a arm swing, and that little bit of a rotation is a great way, 2 or 3 minutes, to set you up for the day. Right, let's go back to our balance. Let's go about fist width apart on our feet. Again, we need to check in with these 3 centers of gravity. If they're in the wrong place, lower down chin, rib cage, head balanced on top of the spine. I'm going to mirror you, so we're going to be aware now, putting your emphasis on this right side of the body. So I'm going to stabilize on my right side of the body, and once my brain has told my body this is where you're stabilizing, just going to peel the heel, peel that heel. Stabilizing, mobilizing. This side of the body, this leg is free. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because when we walk, when we run, we always stabilize. When we land for a split second, we're stabilizing on one side of the body. The other side of the body needs to be free to rotate to actually take that step through. If we're locked on both sides or not strong enough on one side, then that's going to affect our gait cycle in walking or running. Also, again, as we talked about last week, the studies showing balance, the fact that people are losing their balance or their balance is going a lot earlier on in life, is so important, keeping your balance, not only physically but also that mind-body connection. So even just by peeling the heel here, you may feel that, well, yeah, this side of this hip is really working, it's really stabilizing. And then come back to balance. Fist width, take a moment to be evenly balanced. Stabilize now on the left side. And again, don't just think of left side and everything down. Even when you stabilize on the left side, you're still lifting up to the sky. Because if this is all in the wrong place, there's too much load on this left side of the body. Stabilize on the left. Mind tells body, stabilize. Peel the heel, free the ankle, free the foot, free the knee, free the hip. Make sure this knee is soft on this left leg, so I'm not locking out. Make sure you've got your 3 centers of gravity balanced. You're still keeping tall to the sky. And then back to balance. Next step, stabilize on the right side of the body. Now you're comfortable, strong, grounded, stable on that right side. You're just going to pick this left heel up behind you. So you're aiming it towards your bum. This hip here just hangs. So you could do this, but what I'd like you to do is just let this hip hang. So actually you're putting your center of gravity slightly out, because if you put it here, your center of gravity is a little bit easier to balance. So here, yeah, it's a little bit easier to balance. If we can just release this hip flexor, because we tend to get quite tight here, watch at this point that we don't start to compress this lower back. So we'd watch that this hip, this leg bone isn't pulling your pelvis back. So actually you want to feel the neutral spine, so that tailbone is just relaxed down to the ground. And again, this is so important that you keep tall here. So we're stabilizing, this leg is free. So this is important for the next stage that we're going to work on after this. Just balance. Again, you might want to shift the weight forwards and backwards to find that sweet spot where, yeah, that's working. I've really connected. This is important because we tend to think of, oh, it's our glutes that stabilize us, but it's that whole muscle chain connection. So just being out of connection, out of alignment, is going to disengage or engage different muscles. So we want to really take our time to find that sweet spot. Heels working, feet are working, hips are working. I can feel my hip burning, but in a good way, not in a painful way. Of course, if you feel any pain in this position, you just stop. It's not about pain, it's about challenging. You should be able to breathe easy through this. Take a little rest, and then we'll go, you might want to give that leg a little bit of a shake out. We'll go on to the other side. Take a moment to feel balanced. Stabilize on your left side of the body now. This is important to set it up, because you want your brain to tell your body what to do, so that when you're walking, when you're running, when you're moving, it happens intuitively. You can't obviously, when you're running, every time say, oh, I've got to stabilize on that side, because otherwise you just get your mind will get so full. But this is what the whole point of slow, focused, intentional practice is all about. It's your brain telling the body learning, neurons connecting. So hopefully it makes us a little bit more efficient, makes it more enjoyable when we go out walking, running, and we're less likely to get injured. Stabilizing on your left side, balance. Just lift that right heel. So you're just bending the knee. It's all you're doing, bending the knee. See if we can let this hip just relax. So the pelvis is square. I'm not hiking anything up. I'm not compressing anything here. I'm not using my lower back muscles or these core muscles, these middle muscles to lift the foot. I'm using this left side of the body to be really strong and stable. Again, check in with your breathing. Make sure you're not holding the breath. It's a very common, oh, just hold my breath and hope for the best. Make sure you're breathing. See if you can just keep your arms relaxed by the side. This is looking really good on Zoom, actually. It's a lot better than last week from some of you. This is great. You've been practicing, I can tell. That's good news. Balance. Excellent, 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 excellent. And then rest there. Shake the legs out. You should feel these glute muscles, these bum muscles, these butt muscles really, really hopefully working and engaging. You're going to feel it a little bit more now. So we're going to take this a step forwards and bring in some hip rotation to this. Now, if this is a challenge, I'm happy for you just to hold on to something to practice this. But again, I really want to emphasize that as much as possible, I'd rather you really focus on balancing. But if you need to hold on just to practice this one, but when you're holding on, make sure you're not like, oh yeah, I'm holding on like this. Otherwise it is just putting you completely out of alignment. Have a little go without holding on. Again, I'm not there, so please don't fall over. If you start to wobble, you just stop the practice. So we'll go back on the right side of the body. Stabilize. This time you are going to bring the knee up. Now when you bring the knee up, again watch that you're not hiking this hip up or using particularly the lower back muscles, because this is where we can to get tight and tense in these lower back muscles. So we want to aim with keeping the pelvis square to the ground. So you lift that knee up. Now here's the challenging bit. You're going to rotate the hip out, again without rotating the body. So these hips stay square, and just take the hip out as far as you can comfortably. Again, watch that we're not compressing here or there. And I'm wobbling all over the place. So take the hip out. So you just externally you're just rotating that hip, and then you're going to straighten the leg, not quite touch the ground. So it's a bit like, oh, I'm just going to see if that water's warm. Oh no, it's cold. I'm going to bend the knee again, and I'm going to bring that hip forwards. And then I'm going to straighten in front. Is that water cold? Yeah, it's freezing. Bend the knee. Open the hips. Again, keep the body. Should have practiced this today. Should have practiced this morning before I did this. Keep the hips square on. Good, I did practice it, I promise. I promise. Straighten the leg. Bend the knee. And I can feel my legs shaking. You get lots of shakes. Should we do one more? Can we do one more? Rest there if you can't. If you can, do one more. Open the hip. Keep the pelvis square forwards. Straighten the leg. Bend the knee. Make sure we're not hiking everything up here. Rotate forwards. And rest. That should really be working that opposite hip. And you should feel nice and open in this front hip. You might want to give both sides a little bit of a shake. Then we'll go on the other side. Stabilize on the left side. Strong and stable. Tall through the spine. Bend the knee. So again, watch we're not hiking. This is really important that this stays lots of space here. Square on as possible. And then we're going to rotate. And much easier on this side. My right hip is a lot tighter. Straighten. Dip your toe in the water. Oh, not quite. Bend the knee. Rotate back in. Really strong, connected to the ground, connected to the sky. Open the hip. Keep that pelvis forward. So just go as far as you can. Don't compensate by doing any upper body rotation. It's not about forcing, it's about going to your comfortable or on the edge of that comfortable range. And you're actually doing that with the muscles rather than forcing or pulling or stretching. Straighten the leg. Bend the knee. Rotate back in. Let's do one more on this side. Open the hip. Strong through that support leg. Dip your toe in the water. Bend the knee. Bring it back in. Straighten the leg. And then take a little rest. That's good. I can see you on Zoom. It's looking really good on Zoom actually. A few little wobbles, but no, it's looking good. That should really work on opening up the hips a little bit. But again, what I want to emphasize there is when we're looking at flexibility, it's not about pulling to the extreme. It's about being aware of where that comfortable range of motion under control is. It's not about forcing beyond that range of motion under control. So have a little explore with that. It doesn't take long once you get used to that. And it is so good for the balance because you're actually challenging your center of gravity by opening the hip. And at the same time, you're doing some really nice work on the hips that tend to get tight if we're sitting a lot. We're going to finish off with some squats. Now, we haven't done this for a couple of weeks, but we're going to look at a slightly different emphasis on the squat. And this is what I've been calling the 10-10 squat. And why I call it the 10-10 squat is because we're going to take 10 seconds to go down and 10 seconds to come up. So that means we really, really have to control our movement. Some of the basics that we're going to work on is your feet go a comfortable space in your feet. So I usually go about shoulder width apart. Now with a squat, you can have your feet wide, you can have all sorts of different squats, you can have your feet turned out, you can have your feet square. But for this, just a slight, subtle turn out. We're going to pop our hands in this position. So again, you can hold something, you can have your hands out, you can do the heart centered. There's loads of different places you can put your hands, but I'm just going to put the hands in this position so you've got your shoulders nice and solid and down. Now, as I go back, what I want you to notice is the knees and the hips go at the same time. So I'm sitting down and my spine stays pretty neutral, and we're just going to go to the point where you keep the neutral spine. So you can drop into a squat like we've done before, where you go into a deep squat and we've done the crawl, but I want us to go to the point where you get to keeping that neutral spine. So it could be most probably parallel to the floor, but again, you're going to your own comfortable place. And then you slowly come back up. The thing to watch when you get down is what I don't want you to do is to throw yourself back up. So that's what often tends to happen, is we just go, oh, I need to force myself back up. So you've got to get to that place where you can get into that comfortable position, but then just push through the heels and come up for 10 seconds. Now, if we get to here, I'd rather you get to there and wait for 10 and get down to there for 10 seconds, then force it. Yeah? So again, go to your own, the edge of your own comfortable place. Let's do that together. So I'm going to count 10, 10, 10, 10. Let's go for 3. If you get to the end of 1 and it's challenging, stop. If you get to the end of 2 and it's challenging, you stop. If you get to the end of 3, that's great. Key here, keep it controlled. Breathe easy. So breathe in and out through the nose. If the breath changes, if you feel you have to hold your breath, if you're really getting out of breath or the breath is getting out of control, that's when you stop. It's not about forcing or surviving or pushing. Cossack dancing. Shoulders set back and down. Everybody ready? I can see you all on Zoom there. That's good. So we'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks good. Go again. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the shoulders back and down. Go again. It's looking very good. There's some nice squats going on here. Keep it controlled. Keep breathing. Lovely. Slowly. No jolts. Use the floor. Use your legs. You might feel your legs shaking a little bit. That's not a problem. Is that 3? Is that 3? Let's do one more. Everybody up for one more. We've got another minute. Let's go again. Breathe, breathe, breathe. 10, 9, 8, 7. Thank you, Siri. 6, 5. Am I going slower? Am I going slower? 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slow, 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 slow. 9, 10. Excellent. Let your arms relax. Whew, it's quite hot actually. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. That's really good. Watching you on Zoom, I'm really impressed actually, because a lot of the balance has improved a lot from last week. And that was looking good as well. The squats are looking good. So let's just finish off just by again getting some vibration and some shaking through the body. Let the neck relax, shoulders relax. And again, you can use the breath. So breath in through the nose and you've done a lot of work today in half an hour. So you should be really thankful to yourself for treating your body and your mind. So some nice, energizing, positive, focused, beneficial, intentional movement and breath work, and slow it down. And you might feel a little bit shaky in your legs. You might feel a little bit shaky in your legs today. Might kick in tomorrow because we've done a lot of squat work there. But it's brilliant. Excellent work. Brilliant. Thank you for watching, everybody, and joining in. So again, if you're on the Zoom classes, then join in with the Zoom, leave any comments on your training portal. I'd like to know also, because I'm upgrading the training portal at the beginning of December, if there's anything you want to see in there, if there's any extra stuff you want me to put in there, any extra videos that you want me to put in that new training portal which starts on the 1st of December. That is a subscription portal, but you'll always have access to the free Facebook, free YouTube. So if you are watching on Facebook and YouTube, again, subscribe, click like, leave your comments, ask any questions, and I'll get back to you, as many of you as possible. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you on Tuesday for the breathwork class. Meanwhile, have a great weekend and I'll catch you all soon. Cheers. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.